Hey friend, John MacLennan here, and in this video you're going to learn how to play My Generation as recorded by The Who on guitar. Now this song is all based around just one simple chord change. You play a chord and then you move it down 2 frets. Now we're going to use something called movable power chords, and this is a really great rock exercise. I'm going to take you through the whole song, and what we're going to do is we're going to learn a progression. We're going to play a similar progression for the verse and the chorus. We're just going to change the strumming between them. And then we're going to move it up the neck. And this is something called a key change. So the song starts, which is this one main progression, and then moves it up the neck. And that's it. It's the same thing, the whole song, just going up. And it sort of builds the energy of the song. I'm going to break it all down for you step by step. But before we jump in, if you're new here, I want to hook you up with a gift right away. I put together this awesome fretboard guide, which you can grab at the first link down below completely for free. And it's going to show you the 5 chords and scales that I use for mapping out the fretboard. And this is going to come in super handy, especially with today's lesson, because it's this concept of basically taking the shapes and then moving them around the neck. So you basically know how to go anywhere on the neck and you understand how it all goes together. So to grab your copy completely for free, just go to johnmaclennan.com/fretboard guide or use the first link down below. All right, well, with that said, let's break down this classic Who song. Let's break down how to play My Generation as recorded by The Who on guitar. Now, this song is really all about just a 2-chord progression that goes through the whole thing with some little variations like some fills in between. And then we're going to do something called a modulation, which is where we change keys. So we're going to be playing that same progression, but then moving it higher and higher up the neck as the tune progresses. So we're going to kick it off with the intro, which starts like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so we're playing just 2 power chords here. I'm playing a G5 or a G power chord down to an F5. Let me show you those shapes, and these are going to be very useful for this song. We're going to play the 3rd fret of the low E, then the 5th fret of the A string, and the 5th fret of the D string. That's called a power chord. Then we're going to keep our fingers in that same shape, but we're going to shift down to the 1st fret. Here we're going to play 1, 3, and 3. Now the rest of the strings are muted. We're going to spend 2 beats on each chord. We're going to go 1, 2, switch, 2, 1, 2, switch, 2, okay? Now rhythmically, the driving rhythm throughout this song is something called 8th notes. And we're going to play them as all downs. You can count it like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay, so I'm moving from G to F. I'm going 1 and 2 and that's 4 strums on the G, then switch down to 4 strums on the F. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then you come up to the G and you just hit the G and you slide off, and that's where Roger Daltrey comes in. People try to put us down. All right, so the very first time, I just want to make one note. It seems like it kind of rushes a little bit into that G. So you could play it as a 16th note push like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and up. Okay, and that would just be a quick move up on that last 16th note to beat G. 3 and 4 and and then slide off. Or you could play it right on the downbeat, which is how it's played throughout the rest of the song. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and people try to put us down. Then we come back in just for 1 bar and a break. So the verse is basically alternating. You're hitting that G, sliding off, and then resting for the first bar. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then you play a bar of G to F. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then repeat that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, then we go on to the chorus, and that's where Roger sings my generation, baby. And that's just our intro. Generation, baby, why don't you all fade away? So that's just the same thing again. Again, G to F, and then we do verse 2. Verse 2 is the same as verse 1. We're gonna play 8 bars of just 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and chorus. My generation, baby. All right, then we go back to the verse, but this time we're trading. We're hitting the chord, and we're just going back and forth with some licks with the bass. So the bass, you just hit this 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you could come back in, and you could play G to F, just like the verse. Bass fills here. Or you could do some of the licks that Pete Townsend does. He'll do things like. And so that's just like a typical little kind of double stop, super classic sounding, something like the Kinks might play this, just old school rock and roll. And what it is a double stop here on the 5th fret of the 3rd and 2nd strings. And we're just gonna push that up. So I'm sort of mashing my ring finger down, then pushing it up, bringing it back down, then to 3-3 here, and then the root note, that's the 5th fret of the 4th string. So we're basically just playing back and forth between the bass and the guitar. Then we come back in with the chorus. From there, we go up to a new key. So this is what I was talking about earlier when I said we were gonna change keys. We're gonna play this same progression, but we're gonna take it all 2 frets up. So it's gonna go. So that's the same thing. We're now doing the verse in a new key. So I'm on the 5th fret going down to 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then we do the chorus in the new key, my generation. My generation, baby. Then we go like this. So the first key change that we did, we moved up 2 frets. Now we're gonna move up just 1 fret. So I'm on 6, 8, 8, going down to 4, 6, 6, and I'm gonna play that same progression. It's like the chorus here. Then we do the verse in B flat now. 3, 4, and. 8 bars for a verse. Then we go on to the chorus. Here's the chorus in B flat. My generation, baby. My. All right, now we go up to a new key again. Now here, if you notice, if we go up a whole step from B flat, we're gonna be at the note C. So what I do here is I just go to a big open C chord. You could even do C over G. Just really strong sounding. Now the chord progression continues, but Pete just kind of hits a big C, and then the bass drops down. So I guess it's like, it has that sound. It's like a C with a B flat in the bass. But I would just hold the C. You know, he has like that kind of stutter thing on his guitar. He's like, you know, popping out the signal, which is kind of a cool trick. And then you're just moving back and forth. Then you end just in that progression, C to B flat, which you could do up here, 8, 10, 10 to 6, 8, 8, we end in the key of C. Take your time with those different key changes, but remember that it's all just basically that same progression. It's like you play a chord and then you move it down 2 frets, or what's called a whole step. And to help you put this together even more, be sure to pick up my ultimate fretboard guide at the first link down below. And this is going to show you the 5 chords and scales that I use to map out the entire fretboard. And this shape, this power chord shape that we learned in today's video, directly relates to what I call the E shape on that chord, or on that PDF. It's just part of the E shape. So it's going to help you basically put all of this together. So grab your copy completely for free. Just go to johnmclennan.com/fretboard guide or use the first link down below. Next up, I want to hear from you. Leave a comment down below and let me know your #1 struggle with guitar. If I could help you with something right now, what would it be? Just comment it down below so I can make some future videos here on the channel helping you out. As always, thanks for your support with the videos, and we'll see you in another one real soon.